the structure of your veins. Touch a species how to rise. Now we watch it fossilize. Governments denied the breach till our shadows cross the streets. Regulations broken first. Now your cities meet the purge. You blow weapons from your hate. Still too weak to change your fate. Every satellite you send only shows your species.
All right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Giordano. It is Thursday. Yeah, it's the 25th of June, 2026 is the year. You know, I was trying to log in, and I go to log in, and out of nowhere, when I click log in, this Pride is Alive thing shows up on my screen from Microsoft. And I couldn't get off the screen. And then there was a ticker. I saw the screen giving me a chance to get out. Look at this. That's what it brought up. Like, it's shoving this shit in my face. I don't like this shit. It's not my life. I'm not into it. I don't give a shit. Why does Microsoft have to force it down my throat? I didn't ask for it. I'm trying to log in to do a show. And this thing pops up. Look, see top left, Microsoft. I don't use any Microsoft shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't use their products. I use Windows, but I have no choice. The computer came with it. I wish I had a Mac, to be honest with you, but I don't. They're expensive, and I made a wrong choice when I was buying computers. I got this at a pretty good price for what I have. And the thing's still freaking humming like a champion after 5-6 years. What is it, 5 since 2020 when we got all that money? Yeah, this is what I bought. This and the drone. But it pisses me off. Like, look at this. My manager checked in on my partner's health during a tough time, and I felt like I could finally take a breath again. Yeah, get the cock out of your mouth. Maybe you'll be able to breathe. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I don't care. You want to live your life? Live it that way. They're not pushing any straight shit on everybody. Hey, be hetero today. Why not? Let's have a hetero month. Can we do that? Let's celebrate heterosexuals. And then, instead of what's the month they give to the black people? February, right? Let's do March for white people. Have a March month. March for white pride. No, not white power. Too bad, so sad. I'm sick of being left out. Throw all this black shit, all this gay shit in my face. I'm trying to live a nice hetero life. You trying to make me into something I'm not? Oh, we've been watching white people ever since the inauguration of this country 250 years ago. Well, assimilate. We built the country. We built this country. We built this country on no cock at all. Where am I? What live stream is this again? I'm sorry. I thought I was doing the other show. All right, I'll do that tomorrow then. I'll bring it up. I'm sorry. Well, welcome to Goof On. Yeah, we got a lot of UFO stuff to talk about. Speaking of gay shit, half these people in ufology are gay. I didn't know that. Look, I got nothing wrong with it. I don't get. They're maybe a little bit wrong. All right, but I'm not a homophobe. I'm nothing like that. I say let people live, do your own thing. Just you don't gotta shove it in my face. Oh, we had to watch heterosexual people make out in movies. We had to watch them holding hands in the park. Why, the hetero had your way for hundreds of years. Well, maybe because that's the majority of people. Like 99%. Hold on a second. Yes, there are gay aliens. They're called Galians. Yeah. And they're not gray. They're rainbow colored. That was too easy. Rainbow colored aliens. No. Now I want my rainbow back. Because you know what the rainbow really means, don't you? Everybody, you need to know the history. You need to know these things. Well, Uncle Richie's gonna teach you. I'm Daddy. You can call me Daddy today. Daddy's home. Daddy will teach you. All right, hold on. I want to check. What percentage of Americans are gay? No. Of the world's population. No, let's do America. America only. I'm going to say 3%. Shut up. 9%. 9% of U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. Or something other than heterosexual. Something? Okay. There's no such thing as bisexual, by the way. You either suck or you don't. There is no in between. What is it? One day gonna flip a coin? Heads, I want hair pie. Tails, bowls across the nose. Andrew Dice Clay, 1986. Come on! When you break the number down by specific identities, the percentages of the total U.S. adult population looks like this. 5.3% bisexual. 1.6% gay. That's it. I was right. It's about 1%. Lesbian, 1.4%. Same thing as gay. So the lesbian gay people, it's 3%. Transgender? All right, we'll throw them in as gay, but I don't like the way they break it down. Transgenders are 1.1, and the others, queer, pansexual, and others are 0.5%. How many? Look, you know what my first show was ever live? Where Are All the Black People in Ufology? My second show, Where Are All the Gay People in Ufology? How many UFO researchers identify as gay? As gay or lesbian? This will never, there's no specific statistical data. It's an unorganized field, independent field, rather than a centralized or academic or census tract profession. Dr. Gary Nolan, one of the most famous figures in modern UFO researchers, is a standard and president and co-founder of the Sol Foundation. He is openly gay. Didn't I call it? I called it the first time I saw him. It's the mouth. He's got the gay mouth. I don't care if you guys don't like what I'm talking about. There's the door. It's right there. You want to talk about shit? Get your own fucking podcast. This is what's happening right now. I knew he was gay. I knew it. Gray Barker, a massive historical figure from the golden age of ufology in the 50s and 60s. Barker was the researcher who essentially introduced the concept of the Men in Black. Barker was a closeted gay man living in West Virginia during a much less accepted era. So the Men in Black was coined from a gay guy. It makes sense. Men in Black, Men in Back. He just took out the L. Nah. Oh, that was a good one, Rich. That was a good one. Thank you. I don't care if you're gay. Could care less. I just want to know about it. In ufology, I mean. Oh, I know. I'm not going to get any support tonight. Don't care. Just lost 3 subscribers. Gay. I don't care. Who cares? That's my point. If you don't shove it in our faces, we won't think about it. That's why I have this thought. My thought wasn't to talk about gay people. I'm trying to log into my UFO show and I get bombarded by LGBTQ or LBG, whatever the frigonometry it's called. I didn't ask for it. And I'm trying to get off the screen and it forces me to watch it for 20 seconds. That's bullshit, in my opinion. LGBTQIA. Shut up. Just gay. Just say it. Gay. You don't need L and the Q's and the I and the A's. Get that out of my screen. Really. It's annoying to me. We have a Black History Month. Well, we need to have a White History Month. And the reason I picked March, because that's when the flowers bloom and spring is beginning. You know, a whole fresh, new, beautiful time of year. February, reason they give February to the black people, it's the shortest month, and usually it's the most miserable. You think winter's ending, and all of a sudden you get bombarded with the worst snowstorm, right? That's why they gave it to them. Yeah, you wanted it, you got the worst month in winter. And the darkest. It's the darkest. Oh, that's not funny at all. It would be December. I still got this neck thing. Can you believe it? Yeah, of course you can. And now I'm having issues opening up files. So I my computer did a reboot or an update, and that's why I was a little late getting the show up. But I had to deal with that thing for 30 seconds, and got me pissed off, man. That's why I said hello to everybody in the chat room. Welcome to Goof On, everybody, because I wanted to let you know I'm here. I'm not queer, and we're gonna steer the men in black. Men in black. It's men in black. I knew it. All right, let's get serial. Sorry, not sorry. I just, it irritated me for a second. Just a little bit. Because I would have been on time if it wasn't for the gay shit just forcing me. That's what they do. They force you to watch. Why aren't you laughing? Oh, you shouldn't say that stuff. I've got fatigue beyond fatigue. I'm so fatigued out with all this stuff. I'm fatigued over the EBT community. I'm fatigued over black versus white. I'm fatigued over the gay pride bullshit. I'm fatigued over men in women's bathrooms, men in women's sports, transgender. I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of it all. I didn't care, and I still don't care. And here we are years later, and they're still trying to. And look at Hollywood. Hollywood is failing. Disney movies, the new Supergirl movie, failing because the girl came out. And she, talking about how Supergirl's probably bisexual. Nobody gives a shit. We go to movies to get away from life, whether it be hetero or gay or anything in between. We're going there to fantasize about things we don't have to have thrown in our faces. That's why, we like movies like Forrest Gump, right? Love that movie. How about the movie Powder? I've been telling people about this movie for years. They still refuse to watch it, Jeanette. One of the greatest movies emotionally touches every part of you. Like the John Travolta movie, Phenomena. Great movie, man. It goes, it takes you to a place, just like the movie Contact. Nobody cared that you got a gay actress playing the main role. We didn't care. Nobody talked. Nobody even knew. Nobody cares. The only people who care are the 1%. And we got to change the whole world for 1 or 2%. It's crazy. All right, I know. I'm on the wrong podcast. I apologize, ufology. In the name of the Father and the Son and the holy shitballs. What movie? Spaceballs. Another great movie. History of the World, Part 1, Mel Brooks. What a great way to get away from reality and just laugh your assholes off. Now, some of you have too. Agree? And it would. I digest. Richie from Boston is gay? I'm gay. He's a gay man. Right out of a cannon. Look, don't get mad. You shouldn't be mad at me. You know who I am. All right. Tonight I want to talk about will the alleged interdimensional beings, now that we're being told they're interdimensional, not extra testicle. Stop with the gay shit. Will they assimilate to society by participating. How would that look? You saw the thumbnail. Will they shoot pool with us? Will they go to the movies? Will they go swimming? Will they go snow skiing? Water skiing? Will they bungee jump? Will they go on roller coasters? Will they play in the park with their kids? What would it look like? They're interdimensional, you know. How could they say they're interdimensional if they're all we know? It makes no sense. But I want to talk about what's going on. So let's get started. All right. Well, Harry Turner's frequency reference 1971 Joint Intelligence Organization document on UFOs and anti-gravity. And we got Grish Grush Groosh on the Megyn Kelly show. One of my favorite shows to watch. Let's take a look and hear what Grush Grush is talking about. From Sirius XM.
That is very obscure, that is declassified. There was a former classified Australian government analysis that is currently in the Australian National Archives.
From 1971, from their defense attaché, that made a formal assessment of the United States' interest in UFOs, the reality of that, and the fact that the U.S. was investigating anti-gravity programs.
There's a 1971 Australian document from the Australian Intelligence Service.
There's this 1971 Australian document, actually, that Grush cites a lot.
Don't you hear it? Do you hear it? The reason I'm playing this, I know, I was pinpointing Grush. But do you hear it? Doesn't it remind you of something? The news? It's so scripted. All of these people say the same thing verbatim. This is how you know it's scripted. The narrative. This is part of it. We're delving in to this part now. And it is scripted. You can hear it. They're all doing it. Look, I'll play it again. They all say it the same way. Oh, Rich, they're all going to say it because it's a 1971 document. No, listen.
Best piece of evidence that is very obscure, that is declassified. There was a former classified Australian government analysis that is currently in the Australian National Archives.
From 1971, from their defense attaché, that made a formal assessment of the United States' interest in UFOs, the reality of that, and the fact that the U.S. was investigating anti-gravity programs.
There's a 1971 Australian document from the Australian Intelligence Service.
There's this 1971 Australian document, actually, that Grush cites a lot. That is this guy, I think it's the head of their nuclear division, this guy Harry Turner. He's writing for the Joint Intelligence Organization, which is their CIA.
Jesse, do you want to talk about the 1971 Australian document and its significance?
It lists the scientists involved in anti-gravity research, and Teller and Oppenheimer are both named.
All of these people were working on anti-gravity, and the only reason to be working on anti-gravity is that there was reason to think that something had gone beyond Einsteinian relativity.
There is a declassified 1971 Australian, formerly classified secret assessment that a couple years ago was put in the Australian National Archives.
The claim inside of the document is there's no reason to start studying this stuff but for the fact that we have recovered craft.
I guess, Bill, the question is, what are your thoughts on the characterization of Harry Turner's document there based on what you've seen?
Yeah, the only problem really I have with the characterization of from those commentators is that it wasn't a formal government document. It was a collection of material put together in a special folder by the Joint Intelligence Organization, recorded for historical purposes so that they could have a collection of relatively informed material about flying saucers. And the main guy was, of course, Harry Turner, that provided all of that. But the reality in the day was that he wasn't getting much traction with that report when he brought it to the attention of the director.
Is this guy holding his breath? No. Seriously, what is going on with him? The Hitler mustache? What is this a joke? What is he doing? I've never seen Grant Levac. I've never seen him before. I didn't know he looked like that. He's not holding his breath, is he?
In the day.
Why does he have a Hitler mustache? I'm a little confused. Seriously, I didn't know that was him. I like Grant, but I don't get it.
Was that he wasn't getting much traction with that report when he brought it to the attention of the director of his own boss, Barlow, and the head of the Joint Intelligence Organisation at the time. None of them were that keen to pursue it, simply because they were under-resourced.
Take a breath, Grant.
The United States government had more resources, more money, and that they could do a better job at focusing on it. So they took a back seat to it and tended to downplay Harry's report. And so it's actually quite surprising, given that background of the contemporary problem or the reception that Harry received, which was not that positive, to have it turning up as an historical document with the Joint Intelligence Organisation and now preserved for everybody to have a look at in the Australian archives.
Yeah.
And so I tend to agree with Harry's analysis, of course. It doesn't get into anything to do with Roswell. It doesn't refer to anything about crashed UFOs. It does refer to a crash program, but that crash program is basically military speak to get our stuff together and start focusing at it in a rapid way, that it was an important problem. And that's the key importance of Turner's document, that he was, I think, fairly well focused. He had the advantage of having already examined it in detail back in 1954 and writing an official report, which wasn't, again, well received. So Harry had a lot of time, a lot of difficulty trying to get traction with the Australian government and Department of Defence to really focus on it. And he spent a lot of time.
This guy must go to the Lou. Shut up. This guy goes to the Lou Eliganzo school of how not to say anything in 2 minutes flat. He said the same thing 3 times in 2 minutes.
Science doing UFO work.
For me, when I read this document from Harry Turner, I guess the last the last paragraph is kind of a bit of a tell, because it sounds more like, based on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of comes across that this was it was less of a definitive intelligence assessment of US capabilities and more of an internal bureaucratic pitch to try and highlight what the US was doing. These are reasons why we should take this topic seriously. And obviously, the last section says it would appear wrong for Australia to remain ignorant of the true situation. We lack an intelligence viewpoint that can assess the nature and possible consequences of the problem, a scientific viewpoint that could derive scientifically valid data from the reports, and a public relations viewpoint that can honestly satisfy public interest. To overcome these deficiencies in the Australian investigation of UFOs, it would seem that a strong case exists for the acceptance of the RAF suggestion that another government department assume responsibility for the investigation and analysis of UFO reports. Yeah. So he was leveraging that open source intelligence that he had collected to try and pitch and strengthen the business case for there being a comprehensive UFO investigation done in an agency that was resourced and equipped to handle it.
Yeah,
would that be a safe assessment?
Yeah, even though he spent a lot of time.
Yeah, because Australia didn't have the intelligence program, they didn't have the funds, They didn't have the science, the scientists, and the know-how to research UFOs efficiently, correctly, and on a regular basis. That's all that meant. And that's well documented. That's why you never hear about Australia in UFOs, because they still suck. Anyway, I'm not going to play the last 3 minutes of that. It's all repeating. But that's true. Nonetheless, we still need every person, every country, every witness, every scientist to come forward and tell us what they know and what they think they know and any evidence that they know of. And that's the one thing that's still missing, my peeps. The golden ticket, the smoking gun. We have shit on a stick. Everything that we saw from the government, I still don't think it's as good as what I have. Just saying. Whitley Strieber, just to get off of the military. However, Whitley Strieber is compromised, in my opinion. I think the guy's been compromised. I think he's been told what to say at this point in his life. I don't like where he's gone. I don't like that. Well, you'll have to listen to him on your own. It's just an opinion-based thing I'm saying here, but I think he's been compromised by the government. Not because he has evidence or anyone believes that stupid story of his, because he doesn't have any evidence to back it up. Just, he's an author, He's a guy who's a writer, you see. I never trusted Whitley Strieber. Never have. So from Jeremy Corbell on Weaponized, it says right here on a post from X, check out what Whitley Strieber had to say to me and George Knapp on Weaponized. If the UAP reality is acknowledged, what's next? Are abductions real? Animal mutilations? Human mutilations? And how far does it go? That's the point I was making yesterday and the day before and the day before. Once you crack open the truth in the Pandora's box, once you get in there, is it Pandora? Am I getting confused? Once you open up the box, you got to tell us everything. You just can't say, here you go, and not tell us why, not tell us what you learned from these objects, these beings. This is so complex. Because all you hear about, can humanity handle it? I still say no. We hear what the beings are, what they think they might be. We get the 4 food groups of aliens, but then we hear they're not aliens. We hear that the ones that we're in contact with are interdimensional. They don't even say beings. How can you say interdimensional being without it being extraterrestrial? It comes from another place, not our reality. So that, to me, is ET. I don't get it. Well, this is only 1 minute and 15 seconds, but you'll get the gist of what is going on here. From Weaponized, Whitley Strieber.
Very bizarre cases in Brooklyn. These are people who have been mutilated like cattle. When I got the documentation, it included a description.
And we've done shows about human mutilation several times.
Of the autopsies, of what they found, the damage they found, a lot of it. And something told me immediately that it was true. And this is what it was. There is here, just above the C1 vertebra, a spot that if the right frequency, electric frequency is applied there, you will feel what feel like clamps opening up and down your spine. They're the chakras, and they will open, and you will roll right out of your body in a perfectly intact state. And all of these cases were the same. Someone had busted into the spine right at that point and stuck something down into it to wreck the spine.
Yeah, how about to paralyze the person? How about to get the spinal fluid a different way than we've seen? I don't know how they get spinal fluid. I don't know. But how about tapping into the nervous system through the spine? How about all of that shit? No. He's got to go into the chakra. You got to open them all up, and you just, like a flower, just roll right out. You're out of it. This guy, I tell you.
In other words, they were extracting the soul like extracting an oyster from its shell.
What a fuck. No. I mean, it sounds good, right? Sounds great. There's no evidence of that. Oh, but he knows. Yeah, he knows. He knows. More bullshit from the ufological community. I know what you guys like. I know you hate this. I know you want me to be like a Whitley Strieber. I know what you want. This is why we don't have hundreds of people coming here. People don't like the truth. And the truth of the matter is, we're being lied to. We're being sold a bill of goods without any evidence to back it up. Not one piece of evidence. I have never seen anything telling me aliens are here. Never. Haven't seen shit. I've seen more evidence for paranormal than extraterrestrial, or maybe it is interdimensional. Maybe that's what the paranormal is. Interdimensional beings. It could be us from the other side after we pass on. Maybe that is exactly what's happening. Apparently we're living in a matrix reality, a simulation of some sort. So let's not call it interdimensional. Let's call it simulational. I just made that up. I don't know. Maybe it'll take off on a t-shirt. So a physicist came out and said that disclosure is government distraction. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the distraction, but this might be a distraction if there ever was one. Now, every time there's a big release or hearing, this person says, who is it? Brian Keating. Yeah, every time there's a big release or congressional hearing, it just winds up being another nothing burger, right? And he says, I find the timing very odd. The latest batch of the alien conspiracy stuff dropped right at the height of the Epstein stuff and the Iran war. That's true, it did, didn't it? It's like, give them aliens. In ancient Rome, they had bread and circuses. I call this bread and saucers, he says. There's a lot of distraction. And when you keep teasing people with something this weighty, this important, this significant, and then keep pulling the rug out from under them or rug pulling it, I think that's morally objectionable, he says. I agree. I think it's mean. It's mean. It's morally objectionable. I want you to hear this. I mean, it's several minutes long, about 10 minutes. It's from the Sean Ryan show. So, we're going to get some good verbiage here from Mr. Keating.
All this alien stuff.
You know, it's either the most exciting time to be alive or it's going to be the most depressing time to be alive.
Dude, look at that setup. Is that not freaking unreal? All these bottles and stuff. We got guns up here. What is this? Cigars? I don't know.
You know, it's like, imagine you keep asking a girl out. She says, yeah, soon I'll disclose my intentions to you. And, you know, you're just kind of waiting in the wings and you keep hearing things are going to happen. It's going to come out. Finally, we're going to know the truth. And the whole community is thinking about things and is excited about things. And then I'm sorry to say, I'm just been completely underwhelmed. This last release by President Trump and Department of War, Pete Hegseth, I tore through that like a kid on, you know, Christmas morning or as soon as it came out.
What'd you find?
I found, you know, really it's a nice round number. I found like 0. I found 0 that really interested me. And worse than that, I found things that were, you know, your background, you're used to dealing with kind of like psyops and a good friend, my friend Chad Hosh, he was in the psyops. He was in U.S. Army, served in Iraq. You know, they have exposure to things, right? They're gonna prime you for certain things. I call these psyops, SCI-ops, because it sounds so outlandish, so outrageous. It titillates the mind, especially if you're a nerd like me. I want to know about extra-dimensional beings. I want to know about non-humanoid biologics. I want to, and all I get to hear from people I respect, some people I've talked to, you know, I like to say I've got the square root of your podcast kind of size, but I talk to a lot of the same people that you've had the opportunity and honor to talk to. And it's always, you know, comes down to like, trust me, bro, or I heard, or somebody said this and I can't say that. And in the military, I completely understand it. I understand you've seen things, you've done things, you're not going to be able to talk about things. You're a scientist and you go on a show, like my friend, you know, Stephen Bartlett's show, and you get 10 million views in one night. You say, well, I heard from somebody who heard from somebody, and you're a physicist, like this, you know, people that have come on recently on his show. It frustrates me because that's not the way science works.
Do you think this is all a distraction? I mean, every time there's a big release or hearing, it just, to me, it just winds up being another fucking nothing burger.
Yeah. I mean, have you heard anything that would make you, I mean, these are supposed to be some of the most consequential discoveries of all time, right? Things that could question and have caused people literally, Sean, to be burned at the stake. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1600, Giordano Bruno, it was a priest in the Catholic Church. And
it's Giordano Bruno. What about my ancestors? It's scary, isn't it? Even everybody knows it now. There's no hiding anything anymore from the public about this whole entire release of UFOs from the government is such bullshit. It is the biggest lie, and it just grew into the biggest, baddest, worst lie. We're being duped again. We're being made fun of, basically. This is a joke. You want to see everybody go crazy in the UFO community? Drop these files and let's see what they do. That's all they're doing. It's a litany test of nothing. It's seeing what we will believe, and we don't believe any of this stuff. Any of it. Which really bothers me about John Franco, you know, that actor who came out and said an alien told him shit and all this, and you know, that it's like he's making fun of us, and it's very annoying to watch. I am so upset at what's been going on in ufology. I am getting to the point where I think I might call it quits. There's no reason to keep going on if we don't have any form of disclosure this year. If Trump doesn't do anything important to the cause, if we don't see anything released that will make me think, oh my God, Luna was right. That evidence there shows an interdimensional being. If we don't get that evidence, it might be lights out for me. I can't see wasting my time on the bullshit anymore, other than calling out the bullshit. Like, what is there for me to do? Because I'll show all of the stuff I got, and then I'll tell you what I really think I've captured. And then when all that's out in the open by the year's end, I have to make a very big decision on whether or not I'm going to continue on to year 23 in this field. It's ridiculous. And being on a platform like YouTube has it's not motivating, right? I mean, I appreciate everybody's support. You know, without you, I wouldn't be here today. Without the subscribership, you know, we don't have a lot, but I call it the core, and I stay here for you, to be honest. I want to keep doing it for you. I feel we all get it. We're all on the same page. Maybe Thor's a little off. But you know, we all feel the same way. This isn't disclosure. This is a distraction to the reality of what is really out there. And it's just our stuff. It's man-made stuff. Do you really believe? I'm asking you this. I mean, I mean this. When you talk about these so-called legacy programs, these crash retrieval programs, are we talking about aliens, or are we talking about ancient technology that we tried to fly and crashed? Because there's over 100 of them. And you would think after the third, maybe fourth alien that crashed on Earth, you'd think there would be a warning to the other aliens. Hey, be careful when you come in from the south, you know, over to Area 51. There's some sort of weapon they're using. You think that would happen? You think the aliens would have some sort of protective shield? If it's that easy for us to aim some sort of radar that we have, or some sort of technology, radio-based technology that we're using to take down these things, or it's interfering with their technology, something's wrong. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. If it doesn't make sense, something is wrong. And this whole thing doesn't make sense to me. And the fact that Lou Eliganzo has now shown us 2 or 3, and he's gotten in trouble for it. You know, he's gotten his hand slapped. Hey, don't do that again. Showing us an agricultural circle, right? And the other thing, and I think there was one other, but these hoaxes or lies, whatever you want to call them, coming from the guy who at first said he ran ATIP, then he didn't run ATIP, he just worked there. And then we found out, well, he didn't really just work there. He was just called when they had overflow, and he took the overflow work that nobody else really wanted. Sure. I'm sure of it. He was our Nick Pope, right? Yeah, I'm sure of it. Yeah. He was the American Nick Pope. Okay. Not even close. Nick Pope runs circles around Lou Eliganzo, even in his grave. God rest his soul. Poor Nick. Too young. Shouldn't have died. Poor guy. We could use his reasons. I mean, he got it at the end there. But anyway, I just don't know. I mean, I can't believe I'm still doing this 22 years in. And I told myself in 2006, I said, if we don't have disclosure by 2020, I'm done. And then, you know what happened? You know, we shut down, and then it was kind of a fun time to do the COVID shows. That's why we went every day, because we were just doing Sundays and maybe a Friday show, but turned into every day, and we haven't looked back. And, you know, I'm not burnt out. I've got the energy. I still like doing this, but I don't love it. What I love about this, really, if there was a thing I would love, I love calling everybody out. But it's not the popular thing to do what I do. And it should be the popular thing. People should be interested in what we're talking about. Because I haven't been wrong in 22 years. Well, 21 doing the radio thing, talking. First year I was doing research 14 hours a day, boots on the ground. Then I said, I could tell the world about all this shit. And then it turned into, wow. Then I met some people like Jaime Maussan and this guy Jerry, who had his show and supposed UFO things, and all these other people, and found out they're all bullshit. Brian Vike, and he taught me things that I didn't think were true, and they turned out to be true. And then he quits ufology out of nowhere. He's sick of it. Yeah, he ran the biggest UFO website in Canada, HBCC UFO. Then it was bought out. He got bought out. I mean, he wasn't doing it anymore, but he got bought out by MUFON, right? Or what's his name? Who's the guy? Bigelow bought out all these channels and websites, whatever. I had my thing shut down. I had a virus that attacked my cnufos.com. Soon as you start telling the truth, the people who names we don't know, or maybe we do, but non-verified people will shut you down. Shadow ban you. They will do whatever it takes to make you reach 50 people a night instead of hundreds. So that's what we're watching here. We're watching these people coming on the Sean Ryan show, whatever the show is that we're watching, and they're frustrated. And, he asked them, what do you think? It's a distraction. He's like, for what? The war? I mean, they're not showing us anything. Nothing. This guy said, how many things do you think are legit? And he goes, I got a big round number and it's a 0. None of those videos, none of those pictures, none of those stories did anything to make any of us think disclosure's right around the corner. Because it isn't. And whatever Trump plans on doing in a few weeks, I don't know if he's still doing the July 8th announcement, but it is not going to be what we hope it is. And it can't be disclosure, because once you open up disclosure and say, look, here's what's happening, they have to show us. You just can't say it. That's what's making me so upset. If this really is disclosure and that's the stuff you're showing us, well, they're not serious. All right.
Italy. He proclaimed that every star you see in the heavens has a planet around it. They said, very nice, what temperature do you want to be cooked to? They burned him at the stake because it was so threatening, which meant it was threatening to the most powerful authority on earth at the time, which is the Catholic Church, the Vatican. And that was like the United States on steroids, like literally would just kill it. No other power was comparable. And he went against them. Why? Because it was threatening to them. Why is this something threatening to you? Do you care when your kid says, "Oh, Daddy, you look ugly today," or some hater on the internet says something? You don't give a crap about it. But when somebody says something important and it challenges your worldview, like that's significant. So allegedly, these things could have the most consequential impact on humanity. Has your life changed? Have you questioned your belief in God? Have you thought maybe there's something to these aliens and maybe it could be incompatible with my religion, my faith in Jesus Christ, or whatever? No, I mean I assume no.
I
Right?
used to think there was something to this alien shit. I really did. Now I don't. I just don't. I've interviewed so many people about this, and I'm not talking about
Just to give you guys a heads up, tomorrow I am going to talk about some theories about the biggest military sighting that allegedly happened. And we're talking about, well, maybe it could be Rendlesham Forest, but the Tic Tac event. And Ed Chaffet sent me some stuff. And I was going to do it tonight, but I want to do a better job than just going over it and letting it be what it is. I want to dig into it and give you my my real thoughts on what really happened on in 2004, right? Wasn't it 2004, November? Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do some Nimitz shit.
Avi Loeb, but the thing is one red flag to me is you got all these people out there that are screaming disclosure. We want disclosure. They're demanding it, but none of them are really working together.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
so behind closed doors, off camera, they're all talking shit about each other.
Exactly.
It's
No.
it's like, oh, you want disclosure, but only if you're the fucking one that disclose it, right? You don't want to work with anybody else and actually, figure this out. You want to be the guy. That's what it is.
That's amazing to me. Right? We haven't even talked about that. That is true. Who cares who it is? Who cares? Why do you have to be the guy? Just be happy.
And
Stupid people.
yeah, it's so that's like one thing. Another thing is I find the timing very odd of the release of all this shit. I mean, the latest batch of the alien conspiracy thing is stopped right at the height of the Epstein stuff and the Iran.
Wait, did he say height with a TH? I got to tell you, I think these people are supposed to be smart and they don't know basic English.
Thing is, stopped right at the height of the Epstein.
Yeah, he said height. Heigth. It's height. Height.
Stuff in the Iran war.
Yeah.
Whether you're for it, against it, whatever, it's very unpopular. You know what I mean? And so it's like, give them aliens. You know what I mean? That's
right.
how I think about it now. I'm just like, this fucking bullshit. Of course you drop it right now.
Exactly.
And so I think the timing alone is discrediting.
That's why they didn't drop it and did not do. See, they had the perfect time to do it. If you really want to know when disclosure should have happened, it should have happened when we were all at home during COVID. Put it up on the TV. Look, nobody was allowed to go out. So nobody would have been looting. Nobody would have been jumping out of buildings. Nobody would have been burning down churches. It's not my God. None of that would have happened. And if it did happen, you'd been in a lot of trouble because of COVID. They blew it. And that's how you know it's bullshit. I have a video I'm going to show you in a little bit from this new telescope, from the Vera Rubin telescope. This video is going to blow your mind. It is unbelievable. 32 billion pixel camera. Am I right about that? 32 billion. I think I'm right. Hold on. I'm sorry. 32 trillion pixel camera. Talk about wild images. Holy shit. The video I'm going to show you is 9 months old. It doesn't matter though. You're going to be blown away by this telescope. So, do you guys know who Andrew Gallimore is? Alien insect DMT. Alien connection with DMT. It's pretty cool. Joe Rogan discusses the study of DMTX and DMT entities with Tim Dillon. We had Tim Dillon yesterday. We saw some clips. And he says, so the human body produces this. And this is of the most potent of all psychedelic chemicals that transports you to another world. It feels like a lot of people right now are making the connection between the God chemical and aliens. I want to try it. I have yet to try DMT. I am down. I am ready to go.
It's in Baquia, am I saying that right? In the Caribbean, in March of 2026. And the aim is to study DMTX and DMT entities and attempt to communicate with these entities. So one of the things that he's saying, so he was just on someone's podcast, maybe Danny Jones. He was been on this podcast as well. But one of the things that he was saying was that they keep going to the same place. That you can act like they're actually trying to create a map of whatever this experience is. So instead of doing it like an ayahuasca ceremony or doing it like you're smoking DMT and some sort of a psychedelic ceremony with your friends and it's a 15-minute experience, instead of that, they're having repeated experiences in the same environments. Like there's actually a place that you can go, and by regulating the dose somehow or another over a prolonged period of time, it allows you to maintain this state and keep entering deeper and deeper into whatever the fuck this is. But it seems to be mappable. Okay, it was the basement. That's what it was. So it is AJ from the Y-Files, which is an awesome YouTube show if you've never seen it before. And so he's talking about it doesn't take you to somewhere new. It unlocked what's always there. These guys they're trying to develop like maps of what this is. So they keep experiencing, they're charting out different entities that you experience, and there's a bunch of different ones that you experience, and one of them I've seen multiple times is jesters.
Interesting.
And these bizarre looking psychedelic jesters.
Interesting.
I wonder if they were the original jesters. I wonder if, like, the reason why jesters dress the way they do with these dangling things off their heads, because this is what you experience in the psychedelic state, and they're trying to recreate it. But what they've done when I've done it is mock me and make me realize that I'm taking myself seriously. Like, one time there was, like Fractal, there's millions of them. I don't know how many, and they were all giving me the finger like this.
Wow.
And I was like, and it was, and I said, I go, oh, I take myself too seriously. They go, yes. And they're going like that. That's it. It's like there's little corrections of your psyche that take place during these experiences.
Interesting.
It's very weird.
I'm scared to do it. Well, I'm scared I'll go in and it'll be fractals of J.D. Vance yelling at me.
It's all George Soros.
Yeah, it's all J.D. Vance going, you need to learn about AI. No, I don't know. I find it fascinating.
Well, it is. It's definitely fascinating. Chase Hughes is just on the podcast, and he did it somewhere in the United States where they did some 5-hour DMT experience. And he was, it's like, changes you. Whatever you are now is a totally different version of who you were before you had that experience.
Interesting.
Which is like life overall, over day after day, month after month, week after week, year after year, you become a different thing. You're a different person than you used to be.
Sure.
But sometimes an experience like a psychedelic experience can make it abrupt, and then you instantaneously become a different person.
It's so fascinating because we are having all these conversations about aliens and entities and
I think it's connected.
demons and whatever.
I think it's connected.
Yeah.
I think what these psychedelic things allow you to do is experiencing things. You're experiencing things that are already there, that have been there all the time. You just lack the ability to see them.
It's like going into the dream world, right? Don't you believe that when you're dreaming, you're dipping into another reality sometimes? All the time? Or different dimension or reality that, everybody's talking about? When I dream, it's real. It's in color. I feel everything. I don't understand people who say black and white and didn't seem real. I no, my dreams are unreal. They're so real. It's crazy.
You're tuning into it pharmacologically. Like they're changing the chemistry of your brain, and it's not an alien chemical. That's the nutty part about it. DMT is produced by the human body. It's produced in the brain. It's produced in the liver. I think in the lungs.
Because it's for dreaming, is what I think. I think it's for dreaming.
It's very poorly understood. There's been some work done on it. One of the big ones was Rick Strassman. He wrote a book called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, and he did this. It was really kind of brilliant. He had an FDA study that he got. This is all like government approved study on psychedelics under the guise he wants to find out how bad they are for you.
Interesting.
So he told them, we want to study the dangers of these
Right,
drugs.
and that's why he got all the money.
Yeah, and so then he
Smart.
writes his book like,
Wow.
this shit's amazing.
Smart.
And by doing that and then studying, they studied the Cottonwood Research Foundation. They're studying where DMT is coming from. So like the thought was that it's coming from the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is like literally a third eye in the middle of your head. But now they think it's coming from the whole brain. They don't really. The human body produces it. That's the most important part. So the human body produces this of the most potent of all psychedelic chemicals that transports you into another world. Like, how weird is it that the body produces a gateway to some other place?
Because when we die, Red Bull gives you wings. Because when you die. So, have you guys heard the rumors about Tucker Carlson maybe running for president? He's denying the rumors. He said no, but it didn't sound like he meant it. But he dug in deep into UFOs, and he's got an interesting take on it. I want you to hear it. So take a look at this.
Attitudes and biases that I either inherited or picked up along.
Hold on.
What's the one thing that you, Tucker Carlson, could say that would get this entire podcast deleted?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I do feel like the barriers have dropped. I mean, I mean, because I've been in the talking business for 30 years, I've thought a lot about this, and like, there are all kinds of things that I don't care to say, actually, that I think that I'm not sure are true. I have all kinds of weird attitudes and biases that I either inherited or picked up along the way that are like ugly, and I don't want to give voice to those. I mean, in other words, just because you think something is true doesn't mean you have to say it. You're under no obligation to say everything is true. I don't know who came up with that rule. It's not a rule. Some things I'm totally happy to keep to myself. So, with that said, what do I think is important to say that I'm positive is true, that is deeply unpopular? Well, I've said an awful lot of those things. But the one area that I really noticed that it's so verboten that it's like it's not even discussed. Like the way to censor something effectively is not to react to it with like, how dare you, racist, or whatever the name they call you. It's just to totally ignore it. is not allow it to rise to the level of like public awareness or consciousness. It's just like, yeah, that's crazy. Never mind. I can't even, whatever, just shh. And anything having to do with the spiritual realm usually falls into that category. And I don't ever talk about UFOs because I don't know the answer and because there's so much lying about them. But I did spend, over a year really looking at it carefully. And the one benefit of the many benefits of my job, but for me, the most satisfying benefit of my job is that I am literally paid to go satisfy my curiosity. If I'm really interested in something, I can call anybody I want, and some of them will return my call. And so I did. I called everybody from President Trump to, I was just really interested. Like, what is this? It was clear in 2017 when the David Graeber stuff came out, that was like, wow, this is actually real. But what is it? So I embarked on this whole personal thing. I never talked about it in public, like just trying to figure out what is this? And I never really got to the answer. But I have my own views of it, but I think they're spiritual entities. I've said that. But I don't have proof. The one thing I know for sure is that the U.S. government has lied. Of course, we all know that. But what have they lied about?
Oh my God, I had a thought today. You know the EVP that I captured? Rich. Two things came into my mind. What if it was a weapon that the government was trying to reach me on? You know those targeted individuals? I was thinking, what if it's that? Or what if it's an alien trying to get a hold of me? You'd think I would hear it audibly, but I didn't. And the odds of me finding that video were 1 in 1,000, because I lost count. I was trying to find more EVPs today, and so far I haven't found any. And I have to listen to a lot of videos. And, I did a little counting in here, and I stopped around 200, and I still had about double to go. And I mean, more than that. More than that. Yeah, I was only like a third of the way through. So maybe like 700-800, maybe 1,000 videos. But to find that one, the way I found it was really interesting because I wasn't looking for it. And it was the third or fourth video that I just randomly clicked on. I want to see how the new cameras work, and I just clicked on it. There it was. But what if that's what it is? They're, trying to reach out to me, and I didn't. Yeah. Or somebody's messing with me. Somebody just using one of those sound weapons, that maybe I was supposed to hear it in my head and I didn't, but the camera picked it up. I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. But
the thread that connects all of their lies is these are not supernatural. These are beings from their planet. It's a parallel civilization in space somewhere. They're little green men. So I have learned from vast experience that if you want to understand the truth about something, understand the nature of the lie first. Like, there'll be a topic and everyone's lying about it, and I want to know what's true. It's hard to find out what's true because it's all classified or whatever. You can't actually get to the truth, but you can assess the lies they're telling you.
Right.
And if all the lies have one goal, to obscure one thing, you can be pretty certain that's the truth.
Right.
Does that make sense?
The law of convergence.
The law of convergence. Yeah. The X-ray theory. Like, look at it in its reverse contrast.
All right, I'm going to play this video from the telescope. And this is going to blow your faces off. It is so amazing to me. The Vera Rubin telescope. It's amazing. If you guys want to help support the channel, All the links are in the show description if you want to, get a membership, super chat, super sticker, PayPal or Cash App. If you like the truth and you think we're doing it the right way, you can help us out. And that would be greatly appreciated. Here's the Vera Rubin telescope. It's a little video somebody made.
James Webb Space Telescope.
Somebody, let me tell you the channel, sorry. Astrum. Oh, yeah. ASTRUM. Good channel, by the way.
Telescope. Those intricate portraits of deep space that spark our imagination. But here on Earth, a new ground-based observatory has started capturing images that are every bit as extraordinary. If you watched my video in 2020 about the most exciting telescope that nobody was talking about, then you may remember just how thrilled I am about the Vera C. Rubin Observatory. Perched atop the Cerro Pachon mountain in Chile, this observatory just captured its first ever images with the help from the largest digital camera ever built. This camera, roughly the size of a small car and weighing around 2,800 kilograms, boasts an astonishing 3.2 billion pixels per image. To put that in perspective, it would take you about 385 4K televisions to display just one of the photos from this telescope. That is a staggering amount of data. In fact, the survey can collect around 20 terabytes of data in a single night.
That's amazing.
Since the observatory is located in Chile and the data center is in the United States, a dedicated 100 gigabit internet connection was built to connect the facility to Miami, Florida, where it taps into the existing infrastructure. The first official images were released in June 2025, and in my opinion, they're among the most breathtaking astronomical images I've ever seen. And this is just the beginning. So what did these first images show us? How were they taken? And what will astronomers be hoping to learn from this ambitious project in the years ahead? I'm Alex McColgan, and you're watching Astrum. Join me today as we unveil these stunning images and explore how this groundbreaking observatory could transform our view of the universe. Although some operations have begun, final testing is expected to wrap up by late 2025. And just as this facility is destined to become a legend in modern astronomy, it carries the name of a woman who was a legend in her own right. In the 1960s, when women were rarely seen in astronomy, Dr. Rubin was credited with discovering the first compelling evidence for the existence of dark matter. And she did so while balancing both her career and motherhood. It's fitting that such a pioneering observatory bears the name of an equally pioneering astronomer. And, like its namesake, the Rubin Observatory will not disappoint. Part of what makes images so crisp from space telescopes like Hubble and Webb is their vantage point from outside of Earth's atmosphere. From space, they are able to avoid the distortion of weather and light pollution, issues that typically plague ground-based telescopes. That's exactly why the Rubin Observatory was built on a mountain in the Atacama Desert of Chile, giving it one of the best observing locations anywhere on Earth. Its extremely dry air and dark skies make for the perfect conditions for ground-based astronomy. And the new observatory isn't alone. The area is also home to several other observatories, including the Southern Astrophysical Research Telescope, the Gemini South Observatory, the Giant Magellan Telescope, and the European Extremely Large Telescope. Large fused silica lenses. Each exposure covers 10 square degrees of the sky, giving it superb optical performance. That is quite a wide angle of visibility. One single image can capture an area of the sky equal to about 45 full moons. If you compare these stats to previous surveys like the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, the LSST is essentially doing every 3 days what SDSS took 20 years to do. SDSS steadily built up a map covering 35% of the sky over its 20-year run, but the LSST can map the entire visible sky in the southern hemisphere, or 50%, with every 3-day scan.
Wow.
The 10-year duration of the LSST is not strictly to cover a wider area of the sky, but to map our cosmos in a temporal dimension, building up a searchable time-lapse movie of the changing sky and tracking its changes over time like never before. Like any sky survey, the LSST is meant to look for anything and everything in the night sky. However, it does have 4 main scientific goals: to investigate dark matter and dark energy, to catalogue solar system objects like asteroids and comets, to monitor transient events like supernovae, variable stars, and gamma-ray bursts, and to map the stars of the Milky Way. Surveys like Gaia, Pan-STARRS, DESI, and Sloan paved the way, but Rubin will take things further. For example, it's expected that data from Rubin will allow us to identify millions of new asteroids, vastly expanding our
That's
catalog
crazy.
and creating a data set unlike anything we've ever had before. Luckily for us, we won't have to wait 10 years to see what this new observatory has in store. The LSS team will release images throughout the project, letting the world follow along as discoveries unfold. As mentioned earlier, the first of these images were released just in June 2025, and I think you're going to love them.
This is
After
crazy.
just over 10 hours of test observations, the Rubin Observatory had already captured cosmic phenomena on an unprecedented scale. Millions of stars and galaxies, thousands of asteroids, and these images represent just a small preview of what's to come. What
Look
you
at
are now
this.
seeing is one of the first images ever released by the Rubin Observatory, dubbed the Cosmic Treasure Chest. Made up of 1,185 exposures taken over 7 nights, it shows a region in the southern Virgo cluster, about 55 million light years away. It's the closest large cluster of galaxies to our own. This 25 square degree mosaic reveals an astonishing variety of stars and galaxies. It combines multiple exposures of the same area, each taken at different times and with different filters to reveal faint details that may otherwise go unseen. Let's zoom in to a few highlights. In the upper left, 2 prominent spiral galaxies dominate the view, with a trio of merging galaxies just above them.
Wow.
Threads of material stretch between them, and both nearby and distant galaxy groups populate the scene, along with a few foreground stars from our own Milky Way. On the opposite side of the image is an extraordinarily dynamic area nicknamed Cosmic Drama. Here, bright stars from our galaxy shine in the foreground, with dozens of nearby galaxies clearly visible, and a distant sea of reddish galaxies forming a speckled backdrop. This image contains some 10 million galaxies, and that represents just 0.05% of the 20 billion galaxies that the Rubin Observatory is set to observe over the next decade.
That's crazy.
Another early image is this striking mosaic of 2 nebulae taken over just 7 hours and made up of 678 individual images. In a single exposure, the dust and clouds that make up these nebulae may be faint or invisible, but by combining hundreds of exposures, these details become clearer. At the center of the mosaic is the Lagoon Nebula, or Messier 8, situated about 5,200 light-years from Earth. This kidney bean-shaped pink area is one of only a few star-forming nebulae that are visible with the naked eye, although faintly in mid-northern latitudes. If you were to look at this nebula through a telescope or binoculars, you would see what looks like a spot of grayscale clouds. This is because the human eye can only detect certain wavelengths of light, but the Rubin Observatory is able to capture a broader range. These additional wavelengths can be added into the picture as different colors. For example, in this image, The infrared light typically associated with cooler objects is assigned the color red, while the warmer ultraviolet wavelengths are assigned to blue. For comparison, here is an optical image of the same Lagoon Nebula taken by NASA's Hubble Space Telescope in 2018. As you can see, the Hubble image is rich in detail, and similarly uses various added colors to represent information that the human eye can't see on its own. In this case, the colors represent different particles detected across the image. You might also notice that this Hubble image is very close up. It's only about 4 light years across. However, the Rubin Observatory gives a much wider view of the Lagoon Nebula. In fact, the difference is shocking. The Lagoon Nebula is a staggering 55 light years across and 20 light years tall, yet takes up only a fraction of the Rubin image. Why is there such a difference? Well, Hubble is designed to focus on individual objects. With its 2.4 meter primary mirror, it can capture 16.8 megapixel images of individual objects. But the Rubin Observatory's 8.4 meter primary mirror and 3.2 billion megapixel camera were built to photograph gigantic sections of the sky in exceptional detail. Hubble's field of view is able to see the equivalent of about 1% of our moon's surface area in a single image. But Rubin has a field of view wide enough to see over 40 times the moon's surface area in one exposure. That means the Rubin Observatory can photograph 4,000 times the area of the sky that Hubble can in a single image.
Absolutely astonishing. And the last part, you gotta watch it. I'll put the link in the actual chat room and the show description so you can watch this. We got to get going. But amazing telescope. Here's the link to that. And I'll put it in the show description as well so you can get it after the show. Thank you very much for hanging out. We started off with a weird show tonight, but hopefully we learned a little bit and, turn things around. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Remember to tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out. And thank you, moderators. Appreciate it. And newcomers and veterans, thanks for hanging out, making the chat room enjoyable for yourself. And we will see you on the flip side, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's it. Remember, rights are like muscles. Wrong show. If you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. For ufology. Have a good night, everybody. Alien bless.
Hid the signals deep, buried truth beneath the screens, private meetings underground, while our ships observed your towns. You call legends fantasy, while we mount your history. Every war and every throne, every fear already known. We watched, you obeyed. First contact, now exposed. Every system overloads. You were never left alone. This was planned before your bones. First contact, skies collapse. Human laws no longer last. What was given can be stripped. Civilizations can erase. Can erase. We designed the blood you claim, built the structure of your veins. Touch a species how to rise. Now we watch it fossilize. Governments denied the breach till our shadows cross the streets. Regulations broken first. Now you're